Yo, what's going on, people? I know it's been a while since I dropped a video. I've had a crazy start to the year, but this is going to be a video for the insurance adjusters, the independent claims adjusters. So a lot of people have asked, like, how do they get a job or how do they get their first deployment? Especially, it's probably like the hardest one to get because, you have no experience and you're not exactly sure, what to do or how things work or been through a deployment before. So number one, depending on the time of the year and supply and demand, which usually I feel like the demand is in your favor as an independent adjuster. But depending on the time of year, you don't even need experience to get on a deployment. They're just looking for people to be able to handle claims. This is an industry that you can enter with no experience. I mean, on my last deployment, which was total loss, um, there were people who had never even handled a claim in their life on that deployment. Though there was people who had experience as well. I had just got off of ECTA with State Farm for auto, so that's where I was coming from. So doing an ECTA deployment is another way to get your foot in the door. You won't get paid as much as a full-on adjuster. Um, and for those of you who don't know, ECTA is like External Claims Task Associate or something like that. There's a couple different acronyms for it, but you're basically like an assistant claim handler or associate claim handler. You don't have as much responsibility usually as a full-on adjuster, but you're still helping to speak to insureds and handle claims and help move the process along. Typically, you make considerably less doing ECTA, but you still make decent money, probably even still more than the average person. I mean, I was making what, $24 an hour, 60 hours a week doing ECTA for State Farm at one point. So that was still what, $5,000, $6,000 a month. Still not bad. But it's definitely not as high as, getting into the 8, 10, 12K range either. But it's a good start because here's the thing, you can do that for a couple months and then get on another deployment, which is basically what I did. I started the deployment end of August, beginning of September. By the end of November, I was already on the next deployment with a pay increase. So that's also another way to get in. But you can still shoot for any deployment. Really, what you have to do is just get on a bunch of rosters, especially with like some of these larger firms or firms that are more likely to hire newer people or less experienced people. Like you have firms that are like Alacrity and eBurls and other firms. Pilot is another one. Um, but there's lots of firms that you can work with, and they'll be willing to give you a chance. Just kind of tailor your resume a little bit for claims adjusting. Like try to add any customer service experience, like documentation experience, depending on whether it's property or auto. If you have any experience in like construction or with, um, you know, fixing vehicles or any kind of like auto appraisals or mechanic type stuff might be somewhat relevant, though realistically I don't think they really care about that as much either, because being able to do those jobs is not the same as actually handling a claim, but the experience can help and overlap a little bit. Anything that shows you have like good like writing skills, so you can like write good notes. They do care about like you being able to document things and follow processes and like uh, do independent research and just having good customer service skills. You can highlight that, but at the end of the day, anybody can kind of get into their first claims adjuster position as an independent adjuster, typically without experience. Though depending on the competition for a particular deployment, they will favor people who have experience, but some deployments they're just going to need bodies, and so they'll accept anybody, or or they'll accept a lot of people or be a little bit more lenient. It just kind of depends. Another tip for getting hired is just to make sure not only do you need to apply online to get on these rosters, which you'll either have to fill out forms on their websites or send them emails, but you also just want to call them, like show them that you're actually serious about working. You know, that's pretty much how I got on with State Farm through Alacrity. So when I got on their roster, I was just calling them like every couple days, like, hey, what do I need to do? They told me to get the auto certificate. I got this auto certificate. I kept calling them every few days. They finally hit me up, hey, we're having a training here in Dallas. Can you be here next week? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And then that's how I got started. I just took the first deployment that was offered, and then I went from there. But you can be more selective depending on how much income you have, like disposable income, or if you're already working and you're just waiting for a good deployment, you can be a little more selective. For me, I had already quit my old job, so I was just gonna take the first deployment and go from there, and then readjust, you know, after a couple months, which is basically what I did. But you can also get straight to a full-on adjusting deployment, whether that's going to be property or auto. It's just up to you and your tenacity. Like anybody in this industry can get work if they put in the work. Like if you apply to a bunch of rosters and you keep calling in and you show people that you're ready to work, you have your licenses, you know, you have your paperwork right. Hopefully you have at least 3 licenses looking for your first deployment. I think I had like 3 to 5 when I first started, or at least I started off with 3 and I got a couple more pretty soon. So now I have like 5 or 6 state licenses. That'll also help, though you don't need a bunch of licenses, but at least have a few to start off with so you can be valuable, especially in like bigger states or states that maybe get more. Like I had Texas, Louisiana, and what was the other one I had when I first started? South Carolina, I think. And then I also added Georgia, Montana. I think I might have Michigan too, or there was some license that recently came in that I had applied for months ago. So yeah, making sure you have a few licenses in different areas. That's going to be something that can help you stick out as well. It's kind of up to you and your situation. Like maybe you don't have money to get a bunch of licenses. Maybe just get a couple licenses. Also, depending on what you're doing, you might want to get a couple certifications. Like when you start applying for rosters, a lot of them do have like training modules and programs that you can take for free. So for example, I think it was with Alacrity, when I signed on with them onto their roster before I even got deployed anywhere, they had different trainings. So when I called and they said, hey, get this certificate, I completed the training online and I got that certificate, you know, added that to my resume. On your resume, if you have no experience, you'll probably just want to highlight maybe just like customer experience or professional experience, or highlight just your licenses and whatever certifications you have, because that's what they're really going to look at. Like literally put the state license, put the license number so they can like check it and verify it. I feel like they're going to look, oh, he can work claims in these states. All right. Oh, he's got this certificate. Cool. So yeah, just highlight those things in your resume and just keep calling in. You can even ask them like, you know, what do you guys need or what are you guys looking for? They might tell you they're looking for certain state licenses or certain certifications, and then that can give you a clue. Also, of course, you know, following weather events. And then I'll also put some resources in the description as well. Like for example, I took Stephen Story's course, Roadmap to Becoming an Independent Adjuster. But after you take the course, you get access to a Slack channel. So there's a bunch of people in the Slack channel. It's like a whole community now. And they talk about like deployments and resources and stuff like that. Like pretty sure I got put on to my second deployment through the Slack channel. And that was $350 a day daily rate, 9 to 5. So that was a pretty good deployment for auto total loss. So yeah, that's a great resource, especially if you're looking to still become an adjuster and learn how to navigate the industry. Like, it has all the information in there. A lot of the things that I'm saying here, there's a list of different firms to apply to included. You get access to the Slack channel, so it's like real people there that can, you know, share information. And then also I'll share a link to another adjuster, Adrian. She has a list of firms to apply to, so that's a really good resource. I think that's an even more comprehensive list than the one in Steven's course. So like, you literally cannot lose if you apply to all these firms, you know, 50 to 100 plus firms. You're not gonna lose. And then there's also ways to set things up to even optimize that. Like, you can hire someone on Upwork or Fiverr, give them your email address and your info, and like hire a virtual assistant to blast out all these resumes and applications for you. Probably wouldn't cost you more than, you know, 30 to 50 bucks. And they'll literally blast this out for you if you just outsource that. And then another thing that I do is I have a separate number. So there's apps like Text Now or Google Voice where you get a separate phone number. So I use that phone number for different business purposes, and including like on my independent adjuster applications and when I apply to firms and reach out, because I want to know, like, separate from any other phone calls, because I'm a person, I don't answer the phone if I don't know who's calling a lot of the time, or if I'm not expecting the call. So if I put that phone number out, or I give that phone number to someone, then I know it's for business or it's for money, and or, you know, some sort of opportunity, and I know I need to answer it. So that's another thing I do, just to kind of separate things. You could even have a separate email address just for adjusting. So I have a separate Gmail account where I check just for applying to rosters, adjusting. I have my separate phone number and stuff in the signature. So it's pretty much how I used to do things, and I was never without work as an adjuster. So it's pretty much up to you. Like, if you're serious about things and you get after it, you'll find work. So yeah, I'll put the resources and the links in the description box. And if you found this helpful, you know, give me a like, comment, subscribe for the algorithm, and I'll talk to you guys later.